Yeah, Powerline. That was wow. That was something else. Had the handoff from Team B at around 10:30.
And then Felipe came like, yeah, you're starting. And I'm like, what?
It's like pitch dark. You see the crackles of electricity on the actual power lines next to you.
So I had my light. I had my cell phone light. Like, I could not see anything. And I don't have a great vision either. So I was like, oh, recipe for a disaster.
We were in very good place at that point, but you know, it was just 200 miles in. We were tired, and the terrain was just getting to us. It was getting to the whole team.
The first part wasn't that bad. And then I remember we made this right turn.
It was awful. Like, my toenails were killing me. And it was uphill.
We were constantly climbing, running up, running down.
Up, 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 up.
The runners have the harder job. 100% they do. But staying up and driving from 10 to 4 a.m. through Powerline where the terrain is so tough, it was so difficult.
I remember at one point I tried to like squeeze in a quick nap.
I'm trying to give like a comfortable ride to the runners that are working so hard.
I like went like this, and the Jeep went over like again one of those bumps, and I like just got tossed up, and I was like, oh my god, okay, that's clearly not gonna happen.
And it was just like we were literally shaking the entire time for like 6 hours.
It's so bumpy. I'm getting so nauseous. I want to get down and run. So it's the lesser of the evils.
You know, the running for 18 hours and kind of being exhausted took a toll on us physically and mentally.
I cannot go any further. Everything hurts. My mind is winning over.
Then it, became very apparent to us like, oh, like this shit's hard. And we also knew, hey, whatever amount of time we can make up or just try to preserve, that's giving Team B a chance to rest and be fresh for the next segments.
Seeing the team and how they greeted us when we got there, we were like heroes.
I mean, I couldn't imagine running the Powerline segment at night. That must have been just beyond hard.
And then knowing like, oh my God, you have to go through that. And I get to sleep and eat, like properly eat, because that's when they got 2 segments back to back. It was like, ciao.
Then you just see the headlamp come in, and you see it was Felipe. And I distinctly remember like you gotta run across this highway, and there was this desert, but you're supposed to take this specific trail, and I can't see a damn thing. I can't see what the trail is, and I just remember like running straight through, and then realizing I have no idea where the fuck I'm going.
And then we start running, and the sun starts to come up, and you're just there and running amongst the power line.
It was gorgeous. And of course, it's like this high point, everyone's like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm waking up. Beautiful sunrise. We felt a little bit refreshed, right? And then lo and behold, the Jeep gets stuck.
I thought that it would be a good idea to leave my phone in the Jeep, which was a big mistake.
Didn't have any way of communicating that we were stuck and that we weren't going to be able to get to her. She was a champ and had just like kept going. A light rain, just to like paint the picture too, like a light rain is starting to fall, right? It was almost crazy how just the scenery changes too, right? You go from this like gorgeous sunset to now it's like overcast, it's getting colder, it's raining.
And I look back and I'm like, oh, the Jeep is stuck. And I was like, all right, that's fine. Like, I'm sure it'll take them, a couple of minutes at most to get unstuck, to get out. So I figured, we're in a race, and the smart thing to do would be for me to keep running. And all of a sudden, there was a fork in the road. So I'm at this crossroad emotionally and physically, where I have the option of, taking a chance and, picking one of these paths. Or I have to stay in the same spot and just wait for the Jeep to come. Um, or I guess I could always run back.
I figured that the best way to the best use of myself at that moment will be to try and find Yana.
At that point, it was cold as well. It was cold in the desert. And I realized that if I was standing still for too long, that I was going to freeze. So at that moment, I realized that I had to keep on moving. And since I couldn't go forward, I had to backtrack, which is a very not good use of our energy, especially when we had so little of it left.
So I also had no idea how far she ran. Ran for a lot more than just half a mile, and I have no idea where she was. And it was at that point that I started getting kind of nervous.
I'm running back, and all of a sudden I just hear Yana, Yana, and I screamed back, and it was Sean.
And to actually just find her, like, it is like it was such a sense of relief, you know. And granted, this is somebody I just met 2 days ago.
They didn't know how long we were going to be stuck, but they kept on moving forward, which was just really awesome on their part. As luck would have it, like another team came by, running pace, and they were, I mean, again, speaking to just like the community of the entire event, they didn't even hesitate to like jump out of their car, help us out.
After the excitement of the morning, I guess, wore off and the issues we had with the Jeep and everything, running 3 miles straight in like terrain that was actually like the incline was ridiculous. It took everything out of me.
Because it was raining and you're running up and down the slopes, it was also getting super slippery. Running uphill or downhill, no matter how you want to slice it, it was hard. I fell twice, I think.
Telling yourself, okay, once we get through Powerline 2, Powerline 3 is going to be much easier. But once you obviously, you're not thinking about how tired you're going to be by then. But once we did get onto Powerline 3, you're just like, you've been out there for 5 hours or whatever. You want to end. You want to stop. You just stop running.
It just hurts so much. Like, I'm so tired. I can't, like, we moved from a half mile legs to quarter miles, and it was still the longest quarter miles I ever ran in my life.
Car was definitely hurting a little bit, and I was messaging back and forth with Felipe.
I think I had some words with Paul about their specific, like how the mood was in the Jeep, and I think his response was like, yeah, they're tired, so I was like, all right, bet, I'm getting in here, I'm jumping in.
Like, there was a little bit of like a shame to that, because it was kind of like we didn't do our job, or at least I didn't feel like I did my job to do that. So yeah, like, I felt bad for it, but at the same time, it's also kind of like for us to make it to Vegas and achieve our goals. Like, we're not going to be able to do it any other way. Like, we need help.
And when we wake up, it's like, no, Felipe left. So I was like, you tricked me to sleeping, and now you were breaking up my family. Like, where is the 1/3?
And I remember as he like just ran out, I was like, man, what a guy.
It's one of those moments you realize Felipe is much more than your regular captain.
He's doing that. So what we could do right now is try to rest and recover the most that we can. If he was here, he would want me to sleep or to nap or to hydrate as much as I can, and to bring my A game, right? Because he set the tone, right? He set the tone of, I'm gonna go out there, even though I'm sure he's very tired and exhausted, and he's gonna go help out Team B and make sure they're okay. We all then need to rise to the occasion.
I took a cup of coffee and I was like, I was in it. I was like, okay, this is life now. Life is for the next, whatever, 6-7 hours, I'm running.